we could be way off our game, and whatever we say is going to be brilliant. I'm just tweeting this out here, and then we can actually focus our humongous minds to the task at hand to just basically yell about the people that bother us and millennials and incompetent people in general. There we go. Oh. How you been? Where have you been?
Oh, actually, I've been really busy with work. I've had a lot of things going on the last couple of weeks, so it's uh, just one of those times, where you get overwhelmed. Those times where you just dread looking at your inbox and your emails because you're like, oh motherfucker, I just can't deal with this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, another thing is we're not getting younger, and I remember when I first started asshole consulting or dance classes or any new entrepreneurial venture, and it actually took. Like it was awesome. Oh, this is great. You can't believe, your entrepreneurial gig starts, but like any job, or even when you start a new job, now it's just like, you know what? Maybe I could just sit and golf and sleep all day. Maybe I could just never look at a goddamn email ever again.
Yeah.
Because they, I'm pretty confident I'd never be able to retire, but there's days where I wake up and log in. You have 20 unread email messages. And what's worse is when they have nothing to do with work. It's just, spam or some kid who didn't follow the instructions the first time along. But yeah, then it gets a little bit taxing. But I have nowhere near the energy as I did when I was a 22-year-old lad.
Yeah, well, I think, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I remember reading that one of the signs of maturity is how is it put, is developing strong preferences for what you like and don't like. So that is a sign of maturity, like, what you'll put up with and what you won't put up with and stuff like that. I think that, as you get older, you get a stronger sense, hopefully, you get a stronger sense of identity of who and what you are and what you stand for and what you put up with. And so that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just sometimes, with work, like the challenge I had is like the emails that I've been dealing with are like kind of like email threads where there's lots of different people in the threads, and people don't read the other responses and stuff like that. And I'm wanting to type out, you fucking moron, didn't you see like that question was answered through, So, and I'm talking about people who are like attorneys and,
adults.
Yeah. People who,
yeah.
I mean, like some kid that like, writing, I'm not trying to make an excuse for the kid writing to Asshole Consulting didn't follow the instructions, but I mean, you could say, well, he's a kid, maybe he's a little nervous contacting you or whatever,
No, they're just stupid. They're just stupid. Not all of them, of course, but when it's like, hey, is this where, like, that you want to, imagine old Clairmeister, right? I'm waking up and I'm old. John Steele's and my hearts are old. They've been beating a long ass time. We don't like jolts. We don't like surprises. It could be Jennifer Aniston coming out of a birthday cake. That's too much of a surprise for our hearts right now.
Right. Yeah, that could take so many more. We only have so many beats left,
Right. Yeah. So imagine, I wake up, the sleeping pills are kind of wearing off. You're kind of dazed, and I get my first shot of coffee in me, and my eyes are barely awake. And the first email in Asshole Consulting is this why I send the emails? And I immediately go from like a cold engine to red, like fucking stupid motherfucker, goddamn motherfucker. Because that's how the day's telling you. It's setting the tone. It's setting the tempo for the day. The tempo for the day is Aaron's going to get anally raped today, because the first thing, and then my heart goes from like maybe 55 beats a minute up to 150, and it's very stressful.
Yeah. But I think that, like, as we get older, I think that, when you've experienced that several times, it's kind of like, you develop some scar tissue. Hopefully, right? Like you'd say that, like, oh, I mean, of course it's annoying, but it's like, well, it's kind of like when you were talking before about like, jumping out and scaring you. Well, if you know, like when you walk by, the same person jumps at you all the time, it's not as scary the second, third, fourth time around, you know. So same thing with the when someone is stupid, you're just like, oh yeah, here's another moron, you know. I mean, you know.
Mine's more of a philosophical idealism, I guess. I had dinner with the great Matt Baldoni last night. We were talking about this. I did kind of want to talk about this today because it does inevitably lead to YouTube Taco Tuesdays. Matt he's no young spring chicken. I think he's 36 or 37. He's very much a street smart man. He was not born with a silver spoon in his mouth. And he was telling me about how he's pissed off that life isn't fair. And it's like the needle off the record. Like, wait, what? A veteran like you is pissed off that life isn't fair. And he acknowledges that life is not fair. It's never going to be fair, but it still gnaws at him that it isn't. Like, why can't it not be fair all the time, but be a little bit more fair? Or the philosophical concept of suffering things that shouldn't be. And I think a really, truly powerful philosopher, a powerful stoic, cannot let that bother him at some level. But like Matt and me, when something doesn't go right, even though we should be older and wiser, and I know I'm going to get the dipshit kid, like, is this where I send the emails? You know, and I shouldn't let it bother me, but you can't ever fully kick out the instinct that it does. Like that natural reaction.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of degree. You know, like, yeah, it's always going to bother you. It's just like how much, you know. But it's interesting that that's kind of a philosophical thing, because you're usually very, like, you know, to the point, bare bones. You're not into like the ethereal kind of philosophical matters normally, at least in these podcasts. But when you're talking about like life not being fair, I have an ongoing joke with a friend of mine about Tom Brady, you know, the quarterback of the Patriots, you know. And we have this joke, you know, fuck Tom Brady, you know. Why? You know, well, you know, because fuck Tom Brady, that's why. Because, like, you know, talk about not being fair. Like, this is a guy that's like, you know, he won, like, this guy pretty much his whole life is just like one lottery ticket after another.
Okay.
You know, I mean, like, in the sense that, like, he was born, you know, he came from this like perfect family, you know, loving parents, still together, you know, the whole, you know, very supportive. You know, genetically, he's, you know, probably
almost as good looking as us.
Almost as good. Oh yeah, yeah. Looks not. Well, yeah, I was going to get to looks, but I mean, but physical ability, probably the greatest quarterback of all time. I mean, we could argue about that, but you know, he's definitely up there, right? He won another Super Bowl the other day. So, you know, he's married to like a fucking supermodel. He's got more money than he could spend in 50 lifetimes. I mean, what the fuck? You know, I mean, it's like, how much good shit can happen to one guy? It's
his penis is probably 9 inches flaccid.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? It's like, well, you know, life is not, you know, you look at Tom Brady, it's like, well, his life isn't, you know, it's like, well, you know, fuck Tom. Why fuck Tom? Because fuck Tom Brady. That's why. Because he's just, it's too much shit is just going his way. He just keeps winning the lottery and everything. There's my fucking pizza. But you
got to go get your pizza.
Yeah, they're gonna come to the door, but yeah, because I didn't know you delayed this stream on me, buddy, and I've been awake since 4 a.m. So
I'm sorry. We can make it a short one if you'd like.
No, it's okay. I can grab the pizza and then come right back, and
go ahead, go grab the pizza.
Oh, okay. Well, he's got to come upstairs and whatever. I'll wait till he comes and he knocks. But what was I going to say? No, but I'm just saying, like, you know, back to the point about, you know, life is not fair. And it's interesting. I was interviewed by someone who you might know him, Pastor Tom. You might at least know him.
Yeah, of course I know Pastor Tom.
Oh yeah, you know Pastor Tom. Yeah. Well, he's writing a book for other pastors and potential pastors, you know, and he was he interviewed me, and I was happy to do it for him. He's a very, very nice man. But he asked, like, what do you think? One of the very interesting questions he asked me. What do you think was the most, you know, important or defining thing about your life, like that, you know, whatever? And I basically said my genetics. You know,
Irish or something, or what? I don't
No,
get
no.
it.
I mean, just like my personality, like who I am, like somebody, like what I was trying to explain to him was like, I really got to see this up close because I've told the story a few times. To people, I didn't meet my father until I was 21, right? So when I
Okay.
met him, I got to see how much of my personality was a reflection of him. Like it wasn't nurture; it was totally, nature, totally
Mhm.
genetics. Like just the way we kind of talked, and weird things like our gestures, and I can't even really.
Mannerisms and the like, and
Yeah, yeah, things like that. So that was just like the observables thing. So like, how much else, and then you're talking, of course, things like, your height, your intelligence, things like these are, immutable characteristics that you have no say in, you know. Um, uh,
what
so
does that have to do with Luck and Tom Brady, though? Tom Brady's still a bastard.
Well,
Far
yeah,
as
but
I
I'm
can.
just saying, like, he had all this, but it was how much of Tom, like, no matter how hard I worked at being let's say, when starting in high school and then college, I could never be Tom Brady. You know what I mean? I could never have that ability.
You would need, in other words, the stars aligned for him on genetics and everything, bio, sociological, socioeconomic, everything aligned for him.
Yeah. Yeah, like a
Right.
lot, just every sort of lottery ticket you could imagine, from genetics to his, All right, hold on, I'll be right back. You can talk
All
about
right.
something.
He thinks I'm going to talk about something I'm not. We're just going to listen to him get the pizza. I'm okay with radio silence. People in the industry or the biz or not. I'm perfectly all right with it. Feel bad for keeping him up though. Man, old man Steele's taking a while.
Oh, sorry about that. Hope we're still
No,
live.
that's all right. Out of curiosity, are you getting up like real early in the morning or something? Is it past your bedtime?
Well, no. Yesterday was a bit. We got snowed in here in Seattle. I mean, it was the kind of snow that would make you laugh because where
Uh,
you live, you get whiteout. But we have hills at like 40-degree angles here in
oh
Seattle,
yeah.
and we got like, I don't know how many. We got like 4 inches or something like that, which is enough to shut it down because people don't know how to drive here, and it basically shut down shut everything down, and it was crazy. I had to do a lot of my work from like we had this big board meeting set up. I had to do from conference calls, and it was just a nightmare. And I ended up waking up at 4 and just couldn't go back.
Oh
I did go to
Christ.
sleep. I did go to sleep kind of early. I went to sleep at like 10:30 or something. So it wasn't like I was under rested. It was just that I woke up very, very early.
No, no, I just feel bad for delaying it now. I had to go to that YouTube taco thing, and then I thought, oh, it'll be 8 o'clock by the time I get back. John's on West Coast time, and I didn't know you had like an old man sleeping schedule like that.
Yeah, I normally don't. I'm usually a night owl. It's just the last few weeks have just been killing me. I'm feeling my age. I'm getting old, I guess. Whatever it is. But yeah, it was kind of funny because people when you live in a city where like years can pass before you have snow of any like accumulation. People who live here don't know how to drive in it. So it's like it was awful. Like people were, spinning out and crashing, and pretty much shut.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So
Do
it
they even
was,
have like salt trucks or plow trucks out there, or is it just not worth the expense because it's such a rare event?
they do. They retrofit they do have them, but the problem is uh, they've gotten better over the years since I've lived here. I mean, it used to be like a complete disaster. But because initially, like, they wouldn't put salt down because they were worried about it hurting the salmon in the water. Like,
Oh, sure. Yeah. You got Denver's just like that. You might hurt the prairie dogs with the salt. Meanwhile, everyone's killing each other, slipping through interstate. Yes, I understand. Yes.
Yeah. So there was one year where they would only put sand down, and it didn't do any good. And like, there was so many accidents and everything. And then eventually now they're putting salt down because there was, such a backlash to it. But yeah, pretty much everybody was kind of like locked in their apartments yesterday, so it was kind of funny.
Well, I was going to say I want to get back to that Tom Brady thing with the luck everything, because this is an important point. You're going to have luck go one way or the other. Some people are neutrally lucky, some people are very bad luck, some people have very good luck. My issue is not, I don't begrudge people being lucky. What I'm asking for is that society not be such fuck ups. That's basic. I want a day to happen where, when's the last time you had a day where there wasn't a problem and there wasn't a fuck up? You didn't have to spend some of your time repairing somebody else's fuck up. When's the last time that happened?
Last time I had a day where I didn't have to do that?
Yeah.
Well, work-wise, I pretty much, that's kind of my job. I'm always repairing somebody's fuck up.
That's exactly my point. Because I landed yesterday, right? And I had this epiphany over the course of today. So I land last night. Now, I don't know if you knew this or not, but I need the internet to do my job.
Yeah.
So just little inside biz there for you, John, in case you know. I need to use the internet. So I'm not at my place. I'm at my buddy's place. And it's pretty late at night. Had dinner with Matt Baldoni. Didn't get back until like 11:30 or something. I'm kind of tired and like, okay, I'm going to download some podcasts. Why isn't the internet working? Go and turn on and off the internet. Wait for it to reboot. Why am I not connecting to the internet? And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. This guy occasionally forgets to pay his bills.
Oh God.
And so I look and there's no internet, like there's none of that internet wire coming in.
Right.
And I'm like, God damn it. Now, in the meantime, again, I don't know if I've told you this before or not, John. I don't know if I can emphasize this enough. I need the internet to do work because I have an interview with Mock from Zebra Corner. You know that guy?
No, I don't think I do. But anyway.
The guy that makes fun of the Chevy Cruze commercials? You don't know this guy I'm talking about?
No, sorry.
Oh, dude, you'd love him. He's from the East Coast. He's got the Boston accent and everything. And he just rips to shred. I'll send you the link, but he does a Chevy Cruze commercial mockery of the millennials. It's to die for. It's to die for. Anyway, I ran ads on his thing. We have to have a chat. So I got a Skype with him. Then I got an interview with Rich Cooper tomorrow, 2 days from now. And then I got a Skype session with a client, and I charge $200 an hour for Skype. And this guy's willing to pay it. So again, don't know if anybody heard me the first 2 times. I kind of need the fucking internet to do my job. And I'm like, you know what? It's too late. It's midnight. I'm just going to deal with this tomorrow. Because now the clock's ticking. Now I got stress. Okay. So I text my buddy. I'm like, hey, did you pay the internet bill? Oh, no. Why don't you open up one of the things to see how much is due? I'm like, let's stop right here. What? No. How about pay the fucking, it's moot what the balance is. It doesn't matter. Pay the fucking bill. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's internet or water. Rule number 1, pay the fucking bill. Like, I'm not talking to an 18-year-old or a 26-year-old millennial still living at home. I'm talking to a guy who's in his 40s. Like, you would think by the time if you're Gen X, you should have picked up the lesson by now to pay the fucking bill. So,
yeah. Well, especially I find that kind of funny because I'm trying to imagine. Well, he's a Gen X or not a millennial, but that's the one bill that millennials would probably pay is if not their cell phone bill at least, because they couldn't be disconnected from it because they take that over food and oxygen.
Oh yeah, they would, and I've seen it. What was it? Oh, it wasn't the internet. It was a horse girl. I knew 2 horse girls that would starve themselves before having to forego something for the horse. Like if the horse needed something, they'd starve before they'd let the horse starve. Where their priorities are so whacked.
By the way, I did date a horse girl.
Oh God, I don't know if a guy can get through his life without dating at least one. They're out there.
Yeah, well, it's only one for me. But yeah, no, it was. I'll tell you, she was a freak though.
Yeah, they're pretty good in the sack, but they're mental and they're financial lepers, and pretty bad. I've not known one good thing to ever come from a horse girl. Not one. Anyway, you would think in today's age, internet would be ranked up there with food because you can't even apply for a job. It is so vital. Not only do you need it for your job, but if you wanted to get a job today, remember we used to have to fax resumes or mail them in with the cover letter?
Yeah, I remember the faxing.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then the ass going down to Kinko's at 10 cents a fax, and you have this standard cover form letter. Oh God, what a fucking pain in the ass. So
I remember there was actually a mini industry for a while where people were paying to write your resume to fax it out, and you'd send it out to everybody, and doing that was a big thing in the mid to late 90s.
Yeah. Oh, it was labor intensive as hell. Now you just attach and email it off, and I don't even think those Talio brass rings where it's like, send us your resume. Now fill out all the information that was on your resume in these fields. Oh, now fill it out again. We can't use it from before for a different job. Like, fuck you.
Yeah, well, now it's all bullshit. But
anyway, so I wake up. Hey, did you pay the bill? Oh, no. What's the balance? I'm like, okay, here's the balance. Okay, yeah, I'll see if I can get to that today. Like, you see if you're going to get to it today. And I just knew, like, this is going to be one of those things where, no, it's in my control. I'm not going to wait for good intentions or the way things ought to be. I need this now. So I run off to Best Buy and I get myself one of those mobile hotspots or the wireless hotspots. What are they called?
Yeah. The hots, they're just called hotspots. But what do you could just use your cell phone and turn it into a hotspot.
Except, see, this is where they get you, John. Except T-Mobile doesn't work in Las Vegas. I can make calls, but I have a limited data plan out here because I'm using other people's cell towers.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So I had to go shell out $150, get the device. I guess you got to buy minutes for it. So I got the unlimited plan because I didn't know how much data or usage I'm going to use. And I don't want to have to run out of data in the middle of a $200 an hour consult. Because again, I don't know if I told you this before, John, the internet, I kind of need it for my business. Reliable internet.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing because I'm imagining like that actually happening and you like picking up your laptop and throwing it out the window like in such anger and frustration.
I was already there today, John. Honest to God, I was about to throw through a fucking, not my laptop, but everything. Just like, because this is the point. Okay, Tom Brady is lucky. This other kid I used to know, Eric Tyler, did not have the stars line up for him. But Jesus fucking Christ, even people on my own team, people who I consider friends, can you not get your fucking shit together? Can you, something as simple as paying your bills. Now, this is the internet. Could you imagine back in the days, they've created new rules now in the Twin Cities, but Twin Cities had this bout of horrible weather, like minus 30 degrees.
Yeah,
right?
I saw that, yeah.
And what would happen in the olden days is if you didn't pay your heat bill, they'd shut off the heat, a cold snap would come in, and then guess what?
You'd freeze and then they'd sue them? I don't know.
No. The pipes would freeze and burst. And then because you didn't pay, what was it back in the 70s, a $10 heat bill or maybe a $30 heat bill, now you got $1,200 in water damage. Oh, and by the way, you got to vacuum out your basement during the middle of winter, a flooded basement in the middle of the winter, which just sounds like hell. Hell. And so it's these simple little things in life, like your heart beating, or your brain not stroking out, or breathing, that you think you would do these basic things in life so that the rest of society in your life could operate. But they don't. Some people just don't. And so now what I'm faced with, or was faced with today, is basically a 90-minute chore that I didn't want to deal with. Well, now I got to go to Best Buy. Forget the money. forget the money. I got to waste the money. The money's already gone. All right. That money could have gone to additional GDP. Right. Had the bill been paid, this $90 could have bought 3 tanks of gas. It could have gone to the casino. You would have produced and gotten more standard of living out of it. Right. But take that away. Now I got to waste 90 minutes of my time that I could have been doing something else, making more money, making more GDP. Heck, just enjoying life, going for a hike. So I go to the Best Buy. There's the fat, I'd say Gen Z broad now. We're going to start going in. She's got her glasses on because that way you know she's smart because she has her thick rim glasses on. I say, I need some kind of mobile internet. And she says, oh, we have this package here. And I'm smart. I say, so I get that device and then you give me a code or something and that charges up the bandwidth on that device and I log in username and password or something back home. Yes, the instructions are there. You can do. I'm like, okay. So I'm sitting there waiting. They have some computer technology troubles there. About 10 minutes later, okay, here's your thing, sir. Have a good night. Thank you. I go home, spend another 15 minutes setting this shit up. Okay, log in. Got to charge it. Okay, I got to do fucking around, piss away fucking time. I shouldn't fucking have to. Okay, here's isn't that cute? I got to press that button. I got to charge the thing, log in, username, set up an account. And then it says credit card information. I'm like, why do you need my credit card information? I bought the data plan for the month. What's going on? So I'm looking. And then I slowly figure out there's an option that says prepaid card number. And I look in the bag from Best Buy and I look at the receipt. Guess what's missing?
The card number.
The card. I'm like,
yeah. With the number that you need to activate it. Yeah.
Fuck. So I get in my truck, drive back down the Best, because I got all the time in the world, right, John? I have all the time in the world to fuck around like this. I only bill out at $100 an hour. I'm a very busy guy. I got nothing else to. I'm one of those Americans that sits and watch daytime TV. I'm one of those guys that sits in the basement and jerks off to internet cartoons, or not cartoons, video game. Not video, porn. Jerk off to porn, and you play the video games, you jerk off to the porn. You do not jerk off to the video games and play the porn. So I go see
maybe now they are doing that actually. But anyway.
Oh God, I don't know. You watched the Beckloff. They sent me some pictures one time. It was like octopus porn. I'm like, what in honest to fuck's name is this? Those Japanese are so fucking weird. So then I go to the Best Buy, and there she is. Hi. I'm like, was I supposed to get a card with that? Oh, I gave it to you. I'm like, no, you didn't. And she's like, yeah, oh, here it is. Sorry about that. I'm like, nah, that's all right. And I'm all for letting people know they fucked up. I don't do this. Oh, it's all right. No, it's not fucking all right that you missed $12 an hour, pissed away $50 of my time, having to drive back out here. Not to mention the blood pressure again, that thing again. I said, that's all right. I love pissing away my time. And I walk out. And I hope her feelings were hurt. I hope she feels bad. But she'll be a better employee down the road. So I go in. Yeah.
No. Keep going.
No, and the point I was going to make is, let's just take this one mistake one person made and look at how much in time, labor, and resources had to be pissed away. So that literally, like, after I got back from YouTube Taco Tuesdays, I set the shit up, logged in, that you and we're trial running it. We're testing it, right? One mistake of forgetting to pay a bill cost what in actual, tangible, literal financial costs, and then lost opportunity costs.
Well, lost $200. How much time did it cost you? Because you had to travel back and forth. You had to spend the time dicking around, figuring out how to work the whole thing.
Right.
I mean, that's one of the reasons why this is delayed. This is on. So this is normally much later than you normally do these streams.
Right.
So how much of that time could have been?
You're slightly inconvenienced because you probably would like to go to bed sooner than later.
Right.
Oh, it cascades. It affects everybody.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so I'm thinking about $200 in lost labor and about $160 in actual tangible costs. So we're talking $360. Think about that. $360 in a broken window fallacy, because one person made one mistake, and then that's what happens. And once that one person makes a mistake, that opens up a whole new array of other people to make potential mistakes, because now you have complicated the machinery. Now I got to involve other people. And other people are fucking morons. And sure enough, there was one fucking moron who made another mistake, which then further perpetuated the amount of time, labor, and resources I had to go and piss away and spend simply to get fucking internet access that I should have had this entire time.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had a similar circumstance. Well, I mean, similar in the sense like someone fucked up and, the cascading effect. Our attorney missed a filing date for us to file a motion to prevent the granting of a master use permit for another building complex to be built, which will have an extremely negative impact on our building and our property values and stuff like that. To the tune of, I don't know, it's hard to calculate how much the loss in property value it will
probably millions, multiple condos and beautiful. Absolutely, we're talking millions of dollars because one guy fucked up.
Yeah, well, one girl actually, of course. And well, yeah, because they're all women now, all the attorneys. Actually, that's true. But you got all the new attorneys are women.
I saw Ally McBeal and Murphy Brown. They're all. I saw them. Yeah, they're all lawyers now.
And anyway, so missed the filing date. So anyway, so now we're having to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars suing basically for our easement rights, and we had to get like another land use attorney and the whole bit, and just dealing with these fucking morons, and just talk about cascading effects, and lost sleep and headaches, and the
intangible costs, your heart rate's up,
So no, I'm feeling you, man. I feel you, and it can, it can be big. Like one person's fuck up could cascade. You're talking. I mean, how much money this could be? I don't even want to think about it right now because I'm too tired. But we're talking serious zeros here. We're not talking a few $100 or a few $1,000. We're talking maybe millions of dollars here.
So here's what I wanted to bring up with this. What percent of the work in GDP out there is not necessarily a broken window fallacy, but a stupid person fallacy or a stupid person's mistake fallacy? What percent of the work, what percent of our working time do we spend cleaning up other people's mistakes? And then, in other words, or on the other same side of the coin, a better way maybe to ask this is, what if we had a mistakeless economy? I know humans are going to make mistakes, but what if we weren't like El Fucktardo levels of stupid that we are today, and we were just like normal American levels of stupid, say like we were in the 40s and the 50s?
Oh, well, I don't even know how you come out with you need Nassim Taleb to try to figure out that one.
Well, I don't think it can be figured out to the decimal point, but I'm trying to think back. That's why I asked you. When's the last time you had a mistakeless day where there were no problems and no fuck ups? And if you think about it,
I'm sure I've had one. I just doesn't come to mind right now. But
yeah, because they're so rare, and that's what I'm wondering is the lost potential of human production. If we could just have less stupid people and have everybody not fuck up, I am wondering, we always try and say, oh, let's look at multi-factor productivity. Let's get immigrants in here, and we got to educate kids. We got to get more people in this stuff. That's all fine and good. What if we had like a campaign led by me? Putin could make me czar of stupid people not fucking up, where you just had people be more responsible, not fuck up beyond their game. I'm thinking there's an untold amount of level of economic production. It wouldn't necessarily increase GDP numbers because, again, of the broken window fallacy. My money I spent on the wireless spot, that's going to register into the accounts. That's going to register with GDP. But in terms of actual standards of living, repurposing people's energy and labor and time and effort and everything towards new production, not mopping up the floor and cleaning up production. My mind, I bet you we could bolster GDP by 30% in a year.
Oh yeah, there's a million ways that can happen. I mean, you look at how much, because you were in the corporate world for a while,
right?
The whole thing, and how much of resources does a large corporation have to put into human resources? Or now you look at this whole, the what do you call it? Like
Diversity and inclusion, or
well, that too. But they're so worried about the. There was something I just saw about. I was watching. I don't know if you watch Tim Pool.
Yeah, I watch him occasionally. Yeah.
And he had a video talking about the backfire of the B2 movement, a bunch of articles about how they were interviewing a bunch of guys at Davos in Switzerland. Where they have that big meeting of the billionaires, and all these guys were refusing to mentor women because they're terrified of being slapped with the sexual harassment or something like that. They just don't want to do that. But how much time do you have to spend now to have what do you call these sensitivity
sexual harassment?
Yeah, sexual harassment classes and sensitivity classes. I know there was one corporation. It's like, what are the CNN or CBS News? They literally made a company policy now where it's you cannot hug another person like on the job. So putting your arm around them, that's like technically grounds for termination. So that's that's what we've come to now. So
right.
And everybody is spending, because all the time you have to spend now worrying about did I microaggress this person or what? That's mental energy taken away from productivity. Right.
And innovation, Lord knows what. Well, shoot, what remember when Starbucks shut down for 3 days because the kid did it right and says, "No, I'm not serving you. You didn't pay," and they just happened to be black, or what were they, loitering or something like that?
Yeah, they were just hanging out there, and they were being boisterous, and they said they were waiting for someone they didn't order, and they turned it into, like, you think it. I mean, Watergate didn't get as much press as that fucking thing.
No. But there's another perfect example. There are millions of dollars. You're talking thousands of stores, thousands of dollars at thousands of stores every day equals millions of dollars, because of stupidity. Because of a mistake, not a mistake. I wasn't there, and I'd have to side with it. I think there might be a little bit of mistake on both sides, where it's like, hey, are you going to order something? It's kind of along the lines, hey, do you pay your bills? Well, if you're not going to order something, you shouldn't be here. Get the fuck out. But we don't have that basic modicum of adult behavior and decency. And then it's like, hey, are they just hanging out? Are they really waiting for the friends? You don't have to go fucking full blown Nazi on them. Let them hang out a little bit. But again, mistakes costing millions of what a 5-second incident might have cost millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Oh God. You see, if it gets to this level where people are hypersensitive and they're always looking to be offended and their politics come first, and we're talking this level of stupid, talking generally stupid. And I got an article. Oh my God. We'll talk about stupid as the younger people get dumber and dumber. Large corporations are not going to be able to function. They're just not. It's like, if you ever, the Saturn V rocket.
Yeah. Went to the moon. Yeah.
One of them went to the moon. So I listened to a documentary about that, and this is before digital. This is before like real computers. They had to have that thing so finely tuned. They're talking about the F1 engines that went into this things and the problem they had, the cooling problems, the thermodynamic problems, the liquid problems, the temperature, all this just to get this finely tuned rocket so it wouldn't blow up and kill the astronauts inside. That was possible, I'd argue, in part because you were dealing with mature engineers who had their shit together. They didn't make mistakes. And, so what the first rocket, they were testing it. They didn't just send astronauts up on the first one. They tested a couple dummy rockets. Did that. I guarantee you when that first rocket went up, there might have been an old jock in there who became an engineer and spanked the other engineer in the ass. And you know what happened? Fucking nothing. It's just nice going, Jim. Spank, and that was it. And then they continued working on. Now, I don't think with the amount of moving pieces within a large corporation today, being manned and staffed by increasingly dumber and dumber and more easily and easily offended people, there's no way these corporations can go on. No way. They're gonna self-implode.
Well, yeah, I think it was Matt Forney did a video a long time ago where I don't know if was it Facebook. I think it was where they literally hired. I think it was something like a quarter of their work staff was just dedicated to
sensors or monitors or something, right?
Yeah. I mean, so I obviously Facebook's. I mean, you want a stock tip. Well, this is joking. We don't give real financial advice. I'm saying this in jest, but short that stock because there's no way that can be a viable company when you're despite the fact that people don't really use it anymore, except for the messenger aspect of it. Well, it's funny when you were talking about the Saturn V rocket. I was thinking of that movie, Apollo 13, where there's a scene where the astronauts were so intelligent and competent engineers that they actually were having to do the math by longhand, without a computer. Do you remember that? I don't know if you remember the film, with Tom Hanks and
yeah. No, I do. I also remember how they on Earth reassembled everything that was in that space capsule so they could make the carbon monoxide abatement machine.
Right. Yeah. The scrubbers, the air scrubber. Yeah.
Right. No, and that's the shit I'm talking about. One fuck up, one mess up there would have resulted in death.
Right.
And I can't get the damn girl
to remember to give you the card when you leave. Yeah.
Fucking Christ. I mean, I yearn for the days, not that I am anywhere near astronaut material, but damn it, do I rarely fuck up. I just yearn for the days where it's like, it's going to get done. You don't have to worry, because what it really means is we're slowly descending into a high level second world country. Then we're going to be solid second. Then we're going to be low second. And then we're going to be a bunch of durkas running around in loincloths trying to figure out how to get a fire going, because there's just going to be too many, not necessarily stupid, but incompetent, lazy, prone to mistake people.
Well, yeah, I think part of this, Aaron, though, is I think that there's not the consequences to fucking up that there used to be. Everybody has an excuse, to blame something else but themselves. So I think that's a large part of it. You know what I mean? That no one takes responsibility anymore. It's always someone or something's fault.
Right. And I'm not dismissing the blame game. It's what my point is, that there is economic costs and consequences to people fucking up.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know if there's a fuck up rate we could measure, but I don't know. It's been so long, and Overton's window moves so slowly. I don't recall people driving this bad or slow. I don't remember this many people fucking up. I want to say I recall days where not days, but weeks where everything was going fine. Everything was the Saturn V rocket. It was working great. But these past, I'd have to say at least the 5 years, maybe the past decade, certainly when I was in Wyoming, where you had the Wyoming 3, they had to try it 3 times before they get it right. It's just, you cannot go a fucking day out there without some kind of fuck up. And no matter how minor it is going to set you back at least 15 minutes to an hour. And soon we're going to get to the point where the mistakes are so common and not so innocuous that you're spending half your day or your full day just getting back to zero.
Yeah, it's kind of scary when you look. Jesus, that's a pretty black pill of you. Not that I'm disagreeing with it. It's just I never really thought about it that way. But yeah.
Well, go ahead. Because I had another dark thought. It's really scary now because now my mind's gone down to a truly dark path that you and I are not going to like.
Well, no, I mean, I'm just kind of grateful that I am as old as I am, because it's like you said one time, it's like, we just need people to keep the lights on for another 45 years. And then, we don't care. You know what I mean? Because I really think that things are going to get a lot worse before they get better. I mean, I just believe things are cyclical. I'm not like a total, I mean, I do believe that eventually they'll, things rise and fall, and they fall and then they rise again. But I do believe we're on the precipice of shit getting really bad.
Oh yeah, no, it's it's going to be horrible. It's going to be horrible. And as much as technology advances, I don't think it's really necessarily going to save us. I mean, I've had the best year of my life this year. I mean, things are going great. But when I look long term, really, you and I are going to be in the nursing home. Can I trust, McKinsey with her made up nursing degree at some university where she was taught cisgendered studies and not how to measure a milligram versus a microgram of vital life-saving drug, and just a 2% error will throw me into cardiac arrest? That's the shit I'm talking about, man.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I feel that that kind of thing is just going to get worse and worse and worse, and also it's a mutual acquaintance, Ann Sturzinger. I don't know if you followed her adventures on Facebook, where she caught typhus from she moved to California, and because of the immigrant, typhus, like stuff that you get in the concentration camps in World War II.
Yeah.
There's an outbreak of typhus in Southern California because of all the third world immigrants coming in. And,
maybe I will pick up drinking again. Maybe it's a good day to start drinking again.
It's like that scene from the movie Airplane. Yeah, I picked the wrong day to quit drinking. It's just wrong day to quit sniffing glue. Yeah, I mean, there's but yeah. So I mean, I think that there's a lot of bad, and apparently, unfortunately, I didn't watch Trump's speech, but I just heard people talking about it. I was listening to another stream while I was waiting for you to get this thing online because the dumb bitch didn't give you the right code. They talk about apparently Trump's State of the Union address was very underwhelming, where he, in other words, he didn't say he was gonna fuck you Democrats, I'm building the wall, and go blow me. So
are those even worth watching though anymore? I mean, I've never watched a presidential speech. I don't watch any politician.
I never did either until Trump, because Trump is he's such a wild card that you never he's he has this ZFG kind of attitude about everything. So I mean, he was the only guy that made presidential debates fun to watch, because he would make fun of everybody,
Right. Yeah.
It was, you were watching it for the entertainment value. It was the highest rated. More people were watching that than the most popular whatever. I don't even have TV anymore, so I don't even know. But I didn't even watch the Super Bowl. I mean,
I don't think anybody else did. Lowest ratings of what, 10 years?
What was it? Yeah.
I know. Yeah, it's on it. And very interesting observation about, I could have swore they were going to give us a double dose and double down on the political lecturing, sermoning, social justice warrior bullshit with their commercials. Not only did they not do that, but the market price for commercial time in the Super Bowl actually went down for the first time ever in history.
Because people just they realized people were just had enough of it. They're,
Well, I think a lot of it was people just aren't watching football anymore because of the Colin Kaepernick, and we're going to take a knee and fuck Whitey and fuck this oppressive nation and fuck America. I think that was part of it, but that's been brewing for a while. A lot of it, I think, also has to do with basically fuck Tom Brady. I mean, like, the Patriots in the Super Bowl again. Okay, it's like, Rambo 6 or Rocky 27. All right, here we go again. So.
Yeah, I think as someone said on Facebook, they said they should rename the Super Bowl to "Who's going to play Tom Brady this year?"
Yeah.
So, yeah, because it's just it's always Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. But oh God, no, I lost.
Well, I was just saying that it was good to see the ratings were down, but I don't think it was all purely political. But by God, it was nice to see that there weren't any political ads. It indicated to me, like, on the. I think, isn't that the most expensive minutes of advertising is the Super Bowl. I don't think anything costs more than that, right?
Right. It is the most expensive because I think they sell them in 10 or 15-second increments. And
okay, well, with that market power behind it, if you believe the free market speaks truth, which I do, they learned their lesson from last year with all that fucking political bullshit. And despite Gillette coming, because I could have swear to God, John, I thought they were going to shove it up our ass again. Like it would have been Gillette on steroids, and there would have been a bunch of Me Too shit. Or I could have swore there was, and there was nothing. I mean, there's a little bit of touchy feely shit from CNN, but there was nothing overt like last year.
Well, I didn't see the commercials, but from what I understand, your analysis is correct. But I will say this, though, when it comes to things that are shaping our culture, like the media and stuff like that, a lot of people just say, oh, it's all about the money. They're just doing it because, oh, that's what makes money. Well, that's actually not really true. I saw a mini doc on YouTube about how the advertising agencies that they hire actually all got together, and I saw, and they were being recorded. They knew it. They didn't realize it was going to be used for this purpose, but they showed how they were pushing an agenda to have, homosexuals and interracial couples and stuff like this.
Sure.
Even when their test markets didn't say that that's what people wanted, but they did it anyway because they said, oh no, well, it's social responsibility. So this whole idea of like them just doing, it to make money, I don't believe that. There's people that actually have an agenda. So it's not quite that simple. It's not all dollars and cents. Ultimately, human beings are emotional creatures. And yes, of course, we are driven to, want to make money, but there's more to it than that.
Well, I would say what's happened is this is one of the most successful things the left ever pulled off. And this was directly targeted at your and my generation, because I remember when they started coming in with this diversity bullshit. And, we're in a finance class. Well, diversity is like, what the fuck? What does diversity have to do with math formulas? You point, here's Bob. Bob's black. We got diversity. Get the fuck out of here, you HR Kawanta, haha. And what we found out, and I didn't believe that they were taking the brainwashing, but Gen X is squarely to blame. These marketing peoples with their MBAs, and they go work at CSR. Do you remember when CSR departments were first coming out, corporate social responsibility?
Actually, I was kind of out of the only time I was in the quote unquote in the corporate world was I worked for law firms. So I was
okay.
So that's kind of as close as I got to that corporate structure.
Okay.
Was law firms. So I didn't really have that. But yeah, well, I mean now it's totally on steroids. But I would argue that it kind of circling back to the original point that it's actually costing them money. It's not serving, it's counterintuitive because it's going, the corporations exist. The purpose of a corporation is to make money for its shareholders, right? Like by legal definition. And actually a publicly traded corporation that does anything that goes against that can technically, from what I understand, can be sued by the shareholders.
Well, they would vote the board out and get a new executive team in, is what they would do.
Yes, but they also could be held civilly liable for actions that they took that were
like failing their fiduciary responsibility kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know if fiduciary is the legal word they would use, but yeah, that is correct. So, but anyway, that's getting in the weeds. But so my point is that you're having corporations doing things now that are actually losing money. I mean, I remember what I was going to say now. Like, it's not just the Super Bowl that people are not watching so much anymore. It's just sports ball in general. Look at all the award shows. Like, I mean, I remember back in the because I'm a bit of a movie guy, a movie buff. I mean, I don't actually go to theaters, but I do like movies, and like you, I can quote all the lines from Casablanca, Captain Reno, and but no one watches the Oscars anymore. I mean, no one gives a shit. I mean, they're like, I heard that like Black Panther is nominated for like best picture.
It's a joke now. It's like the Nobel Peace Prize. So, like, it doesn't mean anything. It's just a masturbation fest for people in Hollywood.
Yeah, it's like a celebrity circle jerk, and no one, people are just so disconnected from that now. They don't give a shit about these people. They're living in their bubble. You got all these ultra millionaires living in their, gated communities, telling us how we should live, and we're Nazis because we wear a freaking MAGA hat. I think Alyssa Milano came out and said that the MAGA hat is the equivalent to a Klan outfit. Which I'm so happy to find out that what's his name, the Covington kid, I think his name is Sandman or something like that. She's one of the people that there's one of the like 80 people that he's suing.
Really? Good.
Yeah.
Good. All right. There you go. That'll teach you to want to hit kids. But my point is, and I'm trying to get to connect it to where you say that they're doing things that are not profitable for the corporation. You got to understand our generation is in charge of corporate America now, especially the younger companies, like Silicon Valley and the likes of that.
Right.
And definitely the CSR. And what remnant of baby boomer fucks are still in command are bending over backwards for this leftist social responsibility, corporate virtue signaling bullshit. It is a testament as to how easily brainwashed people are, because I think deep down inside, and you are right, these people, when they're having their meeting behind closed doors, it's the marketing. Well, we gotta advance this cause. We gotta advance this agenda. We have to portray interrace couples. We have to portray a carbon footprint and all that other stuff. They were trained in that. They were brainwashed to believe that. And kind of a lot like artists believe that they just can't make a pretty picture of something or make a pretty statue, that there has to be a political meaning behind it. I think our generation was thoroughly convinced that they're worthless as an accountant. They're worthless as a truck driver. They're worthless as an engineer, unless they also add some kind of plus social responsibility, plus politics, plus carbon footprint type of bullshit. And so now that they're running, this is the first time they have sent this shit out for more than, like, it wasn't just a fluke. This is a sustained campaign. They're getting kickback. And now that the Super Bowl didn't have any of that, I'm wondering, it probably did directly affect their numbers. And now the lesson that these Gen X fucks should have gotten a long time ago is that, hey, profits come first, not politics. Because, dude, I don't know when the last time I saw a white guy in a commercial was who wasn't effeminate. Like, the last time I saw a white guy who looked like a normal white guy, not the Verizon commercial, was two faggoty-looking, dopey millennial fucks. I don't know when the last time. It's always, well, here's the Hispanic girl, and there's the black woman, and there's the Latino guy, and oh, there's your standard interrace couple. Oh, there's the single mom. It's like, white guys anywhere? We account for 35% of the population, last I checked. Kind of a big target segment here.
Yeah, we also earn the most money. So.
Asians do on a per capita basis, but
well,
as a group.
But as a group, we do. Yeah.
Yeah. But, and it shows you, but they were brainwashed to believe that this sells. And I'll tell you this is the only quiver they got in their little arrow case there. These are not smart people. All they know is, like, I have a hammer, I'll hit everything like a nail. And all that marketing has been for the past 5 years has been politics. Because a ton of money and infrastructure has been spent on millennials and Gen Zers and some Gen Xers to think that their politics is the number one thing in their life. And for a lot of people, that's true. I mean, for fuck's sake, do you remember, like, everyone was going organic and I'm going green and I'm a vegetarian and all this other fucking corporations that they're trying to capitalize on. They think that being socially aware and becoming woke is how to go and get market share. And they don't realize that, okay, you'll get that 10% of dipshits, probably not even them, because they're not paying attention. And they're going to go shop at Fifi's grocery store. But you've alienated 90% of the other people who aren't a bunch of fucking manginas, who love America, they love capitalism, or they just love the opposite sex and they like beauty and handsomeness in the opposite sex. Oh my God, they might be straight. They don't want to have dicks in the asses all over the place, or see Desmond, the 10-year-old cross-dressing boy in makeup. They're finally, I think 2018, especially with Gillette, which was Gillette 2018 or 2019? That was 2019, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was right at the beginning of the year, wasn't it? Yeah.
I think they learned their lesson that politics doesn't sell. I think I know Nike actually had a jump in sales with Colin Kaepernick. It can work sometime if your brand is targeted towards a bunch of degenerate douchebags who have nothing going on in life and they want to celebrate losers. Okay, that works. But I think Procter and Gamble, I'd like to see their quarterly figures when the first quarter ends, because there was, and then the APA coming out, people and movies.
Yeah, that was scary.
Yeah. And then just movies in general trying to force politics. People are sick and tired of having politics shoved down their throat. So I think they might have actually gotten it. The message might have gotten out. What was the conclusion? What were they saying about in this documentary when they went behind the scenes and filmed these marketing guys?
Well, basically, they wanted to show they were pushing interracial relationships, showing that like they would never show a heterosexual white man and a white woman.
Right.
If it was heterosexual, it had to be mixed race, specifically a black man and a white woman, or it had to be a gay couple, usually gay males, and that's what it was, and that's such a small sliver of the population. But that's what you look at these ads. It's like this doesn't reflect reality.
Wait. Are you saying all of Geico's customers are not upper middle income black couples?
Yeah.
Who are taking the turkey? I remember this past Thanksgiving. I'm like, how many black people have this June and Ward Cleaver bullshit going on? What? I didn't even have that. What? Where is this? Where's this happening? They all got sweaters and everyone's sitting there. I'm like, this.
Yeah, the Bill Cosby thing going on there.
Yeah, everybody was the Huxtables. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the other funny one I used to laugh at was the alarm company, like ADT's commercial, where they would show like the burglar coming in and then like the alarm going off, and it's always like a white guy.
Yeah, in broad daylight wearing black.
Yeah, it was always it's always a white guy. They never once had a minority breaking in, so I got a kick out of that,
Well, when white men are done being pussies, and maybe some white women want to back you up, everyone. How about this? When everybody's done being pandered to and wake up and say, "Hey, they're just doing this to sell it to us because they think, oh, that person's like me too. I'm gonna go buy it." When you're all done, God, just virtue signaling and pandering, treating everyone like retards, then maybe. Did you even go see Glass? I just can't. I know you said you like movies, but I couldn't get into seeing movies.
No, I don't. I only go to the actual theaters about maybe once every 2 or 3 years, literally. I get movies off of, I won't say, there's ways to get them for free, and I do that. But yeah, I'm not someone who's going to go pay. I don't know, what is the price of a movie ticket nowadays? Like $12 or something?
On the cheap, it's 6 or 7. If you go to El Cheapo, well, if you get Welfare Night, which I do go to, it's $2.
Oh, okay. Well, that wouldn't be bad then. Yeah.
Well, but they're like 3 months old movies, which is fine. I don't mind it. But on the cheap, like for a new release, you're looking at 6 or 7 on the cheap.
Oh, okay. And then you got to pay like $10 for a thing of popcorn or something. But yeah. But anyways, I rarely ever go to movies anymore. But no, I do enjoy them. I didn't see Glass. I heard mixed reviews about it. Some people really liked it. Some people really didn't. I haven't seen it. I did enjoy the second film in the trilogy with the guy with
John Wick.
The guy with the split personalities.
The guy with the split personalities.
Yeah, you're talking about Glass, right? You're talking about the movie with
Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, and the third guy, and it was a trilogy. The first was Unbreakable, and then the second one was the guy with the split personalities, the bald guy, the crazy guy. And yeah, it was a trilogy. This was meant to be the last. And what's the guy's name? M. Shaman, like a Indian.
Oh, M. A. Shaman. Yeah, the director. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy that did The Sixth Sense. So yeah, this was a trilogy. They're all supposed to be connected.
Well, he took his sweet ass time. When was Broken or Unbroken or Unbreakable.
Oh,
That was
ages ago.
12 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a long time ago. And actually, that wasn't too great of a film. It was, average film. It was just the ending was a real, that because that's his shtick. That writer director guy, like Sixth Sense, the way the guy was dead the whole time. You didn't see it coming.
Right. The gotcha at the end.
Yeah, he was really good at those gotcha things. So I haven't seen the last in the trilogy, but yeah, they're all meant to be connected.
Oh, maybe I'm just getting too old to really get up, and it's an investment to get up, and then it's like you get honey dick. You feel like you got screwed over when you go in and the movie sucks, or there's a sermon at the end. You're like, oh fuck, just wasted 3 hours of my time going to see this damn thing. And that was the what was the movie? The Big Short. Great movie. I'm like, yeah. And then the very last line that what's his name has, Steve Cottrell, and they'll blame it on immigrants. I'm like, fuck you. You never said that. Fuck you. Fuck you and fuck that. And God damn it, we're going to blame it. Not once in a meeting. John, I can honestly say, in a 15-year career in banking, I never uttered no one, myself included, ever uttered immigrants when looking at loans. We never looked at it. Never said it.
Yeah, well, they had to get their little bit of
SJWism.
Yeah, SJWism or whatever liberal social commentary in there. They just cannot help themselves.
Oh, no.
So yeah, I think there's an interesting thing, like this on a more macro view now, like about politics in general. One thing I've noticed over the last several years is there's no such thing as moderates or middle of the road people anymore. Not because there's people who don't necessarily have moderate views. It's because people on the left won't tolerate people being moderate. Like you either have to be they will say, well, your silence is a crime. Like if you say, well, I don't have really a position on that. They said, oh, well, that's the same as doing nothing.
You support Trump.
Yeah. If you don't speak out against it, your silence is, a crime or something like that. So they're forcing people to either, join them or to totally reject them. So I'm just noticing on the macro level is there is no, the only thing in the middle of the road now is, yellow lines and roadkill. That's just the way it's going now. And it'll be interesting to see how that plays out because it's usually that ends in conflict and, violence because people,
I get a kick out of how Trump was a goddamn Democrat. He's a centrist. You could maybe say he's a populist or a nationalist, but he certainly wasn't some right-wing guy. And I didn't think anyone could hate George Bush Jr. more than they did, but apparently they found it in Trump. But yeah, you're not kidding. It's you're either with us or against us. And I'm trying to what token few Democrat friends I have left. Anytime there's an absurdity on the news, which is common, and I gotta make sure it's legit, like it's not a Daily Mail piece or something that's fake news or anything like that. But the academics, the university provides an example of leftist insanity. I'll send it to him. I'm like, this is your side, like the after birth abortion guy.
Virginia governor.
Here you go. Let me tell you something. That's not the Republican Party, by the way. Guess which party brought that about? And the sheep man, they just kind of look and like, oh yeah, whatever. I'm like, what? No, not whatever. You have kids. What do you mean, whatever? I'm trying to help you out here. I'm trying to help your kid out. This is your team. You are voting in evil people. You're not an evil person. Will you please wake the fuck up? And they don't. I don't know what it is. They just want to go do their jobs and watch the movies and eat their popcorn, I guess. But no, there is going to be, I don't know, conflict. I think the Democrats are simply going to outbreed the conservatives, and we'll be like Brazil soon enough. I think we'll die before that time. I think we got about 20 years left.
Yeah, I think that we'll be just too old to care. But
I'm at that stage now.
Yeah, well, I just want to, I like I said, I just want to, like the phrase you use, keep the lights on,
Mhm.
and just enjoy my life. I mean, because that's basically, ultimately what it's about. Like, Aaron, you were saying like, these things upset you, and I said like, yeah, I do experience the same things you do. But I try, as I've gotten older, I try to, be more temperate about it and not let things get to me as much as possible, because it's like, look, man, we're only here for a cup of coffee, like I'm not gonna,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like I want to enjoy every minute of my life, because I don't know how much, I mean, tomorrow I get hit by a car tomorrow,
It's I guess it's the one academic or philosophical observation or legacy I'd like to leave before I pass away is not the pussy, faggoty, John Lennon, Beatles imagine, but the Aaron Clary imagine. Imagine if we just kept going like the Saturn V rocket, which we proved ourselves capable of doing. What if we, and don't tell me it's not a choice, and not you, but oh well, she'll blame it on this, they'll blame it on that, or she wasn't paying it. No. Pay the fuck attention, make less mistakes in life. Like if everybody just tried to be their best, because I don't know what else you got to do in life. I guess it's ruing or lamenting or even mourning over what could have been. I look at the potential of what I'm capable of. I look at the potential of what other people are capable of. And then it's like swimming through a cesspool full of feces just to swimming uphill because of all the shit around you. And this isn't to sound arrogant or cocky or I'm better than most people, but it's like, my God, people, why are you just sitting on your duffs, mailing it in life when we could achieve such great things? And yes, the true display of masculinity, I guess, would be mastery over one's emotions and not letting it get to you. But it's just this kind of like, dang, could you imagine if we had actually tried, if we had tried our best? I'm not asking the girl to be flawless, but what if Best Buy, that sign, the number of days without an accident? What if Best Buy had number of days where our thousands of employees were so well brought up and so well trained, there were zero fuck ups and no returns? Imagine if Best Buy got rid of the return or customer service lane because it wouldn't be needed, because they handled their customers up front the right way the first time. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I'm laughing because I'm thinking I was in Best. Actually, this is months and months ago, but when I was in Best Buy, I thought it was kind of ironic that there was a bigger line at the customer service than there was at the checkout.
Exactly. Yes.
I mean, what does that say? You know what I mean? Like, there's more people waiting in line to return stuff, or they got a problem, and there is stuff checking out buying something. So that's just kind of a sign of the times. But I think, like, on a more macro level, though, like you're talking about, like, why are people kind of phoning it in? And I think this kind of goes back to your point about economics, like people, whatever you incentivize, you get more of, right? I mean, that you're an economist by training.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that one of the reasons, like at least for men, and you follow guys like Rolo and those type of people.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the other guy? Entrepreneurs in Cars. What's his name again?
That's Rich Cooper.
Rich Cooper, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he does some good stuff. I like him. But basically, he was talking about how the reason you don't have like men getting married anymore is it's kind of like economics. They just do the math, and they're like, because like you and I, we never got married. We just kind of said no. We didn't have kids. We like this. That the math just doesn't add up. I mean, it's like, why would we do that?
So you're saying people wouldn't try excellence in their own personal lives and endeavors because why would they? It takes effort.
Well, it's not that it takes effort. It's like, what's the reward? I mean, other than like, I guess it's ultimately like, I think, I guess there are guys who do that. Like, but there's only so much you'll do just for yourself. I mean, people will always do more for a group. Like I don't know if you are familiar with those experiments where they did like people who were like running track, and they found out that people will run faster when they're running in a pack than they will when they're just running, by themselves, even though they think. But it goes back to my ultimate theory about tribalism. That's why, people always ask me like what my political or religious or worldviews are, and I just say I'm a tribalist, because that, to me, that kind of explains everything. So when people belong to a tribe, you will do more for others than you will for yourself. People will do more for your loved ones than ultimately you would for yourself. You'll lay down your lives for, parents will lay down their lives for their children, things like that. So, but when you take that away from people, when they don't have that anymore, there's only so much they'll do for themselves. They'll just meet their basic needs for the most part. And everything else after that is kind of a form of masturbation.
I suppose I'm my expectations of humanity are, well, I don't suppose, I know my expectations are. I mean, this also presupposes that this young lady at Best Buy had some kind of deep philosophical thought after binging on 7 Stefan Molyneux videos or something like that. And she came to this epiphany, hey, wait a minute, I'm finite. I might die here at any second. So it is kind of pie in the sky. But I still look at it, and you're right. They don't have family. Why would she, she just has to get by and support herself. Most men not getting married.
The idea of like the corporate America is, these people, I mean, on some level, she might be, have a subpar IQ, but I think on some instinctual level, she realizes she's just a cog in a machine. Like, the corporation doesn't give a shit about her. Why does she care about the corporation? She just wants to do just enough work not to get fired.
Right.
Because there is no real incentive for her to stand out. I mean, what's the best thing that could happen? Like, make her employee of the month and put her picture up?
Sure, free parking space or something for the month.
Right. So there's no real incentive there. So it's not like, there's any sense of belonging. Like, like I always get a kick out of these corporations where they call their employees team members. I'm like,
oh yeah,
I hate that. That is like so.
It's quite the opposite of the point that I'm kind of trying to make. Is I as an individual is what I'm saying. Why wouldn't you look? You're there for the same 8 hours. Why wouldn't you try and do your best, no matter what capacity or regard it might be? All right, so you're sweeping the floors, or I actually do know a rocket scientist, but he kind of has really important reasons why he wants to be accurate and not make any mistakes, because rockets might blow up. I'm just saying in general, like, not to provide a personal story, but this one really hurt and dug deep. One of the few times I was like, oh, that kind of hurt. Is I've seen this little kid grow up from a little kid to now a young adult. And this kid had all the potential in the world. I'm thinking, this kid's got me on her side. She'll be fine. I'm going to make sure. And just failure to launch, man. Total failure to launch. I'm like, well, now's the time to do X, Y, and Z. You got to do this. No, not. You look, you had the potential. You got it. It does, no doubt. Smarter than me. And just lied over and basically died, just like a cat sleeping in a windowsill. And that's maybe a hurdle of human psychology I'll never get beyond, but I'm kind of like, go. What are you doing? You're failing. There's nothing that you're dying. Essentially now you're going to become the gal who works half-assed over at Best Buy. You're ruining your life. And I don't know why humans don't capitalize on that or realize that not trying your best condemns you to wasting your life in every capacity and regard.
Yes, I think that there's just a general malaise in society in general, because people just don't feel, people are so atomized. You got to understand that individuals like you and I, like, we're very comfortable doing our own thing, like not belonging to, we're very comfortable not belonging to a group. You know what I mean?
No one would have us. That's why we didn't really have a choice.
Yeah, right. Well, I think we had the philosophy we'd never want to belong to a club that would have us as a member, right?
Correct.
So, but most people want to belong to something, and I guess there's a strong feeling of there's nothing, there's no one to look up to, and there's nothing to look forward to, and that ultimately just creates this kind of
apathy and difference,
entropy, and and I think that's what's going on now, because the story of, like, this is a personal that in your real life, but that's happening all over now. And it's not like they don't have the brains. This person, has the IQ. They're on the right side of the bell curve, but they don't have the desire and the motivation. And it's probably because they just don't see a payoff in it. Like, I mean, I think like what you were trying to say is like if your job is like being a janitor, sweeping the floor, like, well, sweep the floor as best you can. I don't really subscribe to that theory. I'm like, what the fuck? You're sweeping a floor. It does, just get your paycheck and listen to podcasts on your headset while you're sweeping the floor.
Right.
But I mean, I do get your point. I mean, you could make that argument, but at the same time, you're kind of like saying, well, let's put this in perspective. Who am I sleeping the floor for? Some corporation that actually I don't even work for. I'm kind of contracted out by a subcontractor, and they're getting a cut for doing nothing, just hiring me to, I mean, once you realize all the intricacies of the game, you're like, what the fuck? I mean, it's so rigged. It's like, well, the only way to win the game is not to play,
Right. And I'm not saying that you're going to think that you're going to get promoted at Procter and Gamble being the floor sweeper, someday being the corporate executive. I'm saying for your own personal reasons, like if you have the choice between being a layabout dope or being an accomplished person, doesn't have to be financially successful, but you could be a great musician, you could be a great artist, you could be a great author, you could be a great mom, you could be a great dad, you could be a great uncle, or just every little aspect. Like, I want to be a good driver. I like to pay attention. I don't want to fuck up when I'm driving. I want to be a good mechanic. I want to, get that right, measure it all. I don't not be a perfectionist, but I want to do it well. When given the choice between mailing it in and doing well, and here's the key thing, it's going to take the same amount of time. That's the key thing. I just don't know why there's more people not opting for maybe not a pursuit of excellence, but at least choosing to do well in every endeavor in life. But yeah, I guess, I mean, if you take away family, you take away love, you take away religion, and you take away economic incentive, which I guess incentivizes everybody. That's the main, and maybe I'm talking way too far on the right of the bell distribution curve here. I understand. I get it. To me, it's a tragedy and a true loss to humanity, because ultimately, if everyone decided to become a higher quality human being, not what their potential, like if they actually lived up to their potential. Right now I'm of the opinion nobody is coming anywhere near close to their potential. No one. Very few people. That if some people, or if everybody woke up tomorrow and says, let's actually try our best, and yeah, we're still human, we're still going to make mistakes, it would be on par. Here's this idea I have, which isn't going to happen, just a theory. This would result, you agree that if everybody tried their best and achieved their best with their flaws included, you agree that that would be a boost to economic growth, correct?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So, or maybe not on the numbers, but people's standards of living would go up because now I have this extra $90 and 2 hours of my day to do something else. So everyone's standard of living would go up.
Well, yeah. Also quality of life. I mean, just think of all the, ancillary benefits to that.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, keep going with that.
Well, no, let's ponder on the ancillary benefits. The girlfriend puts on a little bit sexier pair of heels than she was before. You do a couple more reps at the gym. You put a little bit more time and care into your hair. You maybe clean up the house a little bit more. You bang out that last report. It would be incredible. I'd just be happy if mistakes were taken care of. I don't care if if somebody's makeup is a little bit better done, but the mechanic cleaned the carburetor, he didn't replace the transmission, that kind of thing. That's what I'm aiming for. But I would claim on par with the level of economic production that kind of human-wide epiphany would result in would be equal to my all-time favorite economic growth plan. Have I ever told you this?
No.
Guess what my economic...
I'm curious.
Okay. I'll give you a hint. Let's see if you can figure it out. Who produces nearly all, not 100% all, but easily most of the real economic productions and innovations in this or any other economy?
You mean like who? Like, men, women, white? I mean,
What group of people have produced the vast majority of wealth and built civilization?
European men of
Well,
European descent.
men, you go to any economy, it doesn't matter. Men are most of the ones doing the work. You could be a peanut farmer in Vietnam. You could be the buffalo slayer in 1200 Africa. Men are the ones who basically do the vast majority of economic production. All right. How could you get men to work a lot more?
Oh yeah, well, you give them the motivation to do it. Like that's another thing that we can circle back on. It's what motivates men to work, right? Women, right? Like
right there. What kind of women?
Well, attractive, high quality.
Right. So my economic plan is the anti-female obesity program. I'm being deadly serious. And when it costs, you don't have to increase spending. You don't have to cut taxes. If you want a booming economy, make women hot again. And there's no tatted up face, no ear loop gauges, no short Skrillex haircuts, no purple hair, no fat, none of that shit. All right. You're all hot. You're in shape. Every guy will get up, bust his ass. Dude, you know they did that in China?
They encourage women to be hot?
Damn well close. They got a bunch of these Chinese programmers, right? All male. And they hire cute women to come in there and just be nice to these guys. Like, see if they need a water, ask how their day was. And these women aren't dressed slutty. They're just dressed very cute, very appropriately. And they're just cute women. And you know what happened to production?
Through the roof.
Through the fucking roof, baby.
Yeah.
and
no,
fucking jokes.
There was in my Twitter feed, I think Rolo posted it. And it showed a woman. I mean, I'm talking a cow. I mean, this woman is, I wouldn't fuck her with your dick if you put in 10 condoms on.
What about Beckloff's dick? We could agree we could fuck her with Beckloff's dick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay.
But and she had a husband, a fiance, and a boyfriend.
What?
Yeah.
The thirst, is that real?
The thirst is that's why I retweeted it, and I said that was actually my quote. I said the thirst is real.
And this wasn't like an Inquirer magazine article. I mean, this was like a legit thing.
Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah, it was. Well, Rolo, he usually bets his shit.
That's true. Yeah.
So, but my point is the reason women are
gross, disgusting,
like
fat,
because they don't. There's no incentive for them to, because there is such thirst. Because there's a surplus of men because we haven't had a culling in a long time. We haven't had a war. Like, it was very interesting. Like in France after World War I, there was a huge shortage of men because I think France, even though they technically won the war, they lost more men than any of the other countries involved.
Right.
So women were desperate to, find a guy, so they would, had to up their game, but now, because there's like a surplus of men, and see, the difference between men and women is women will share a guy, where a man, well, except for these thirsty, beta, disgusting, generally
right, you're right,
won't share a woman. So basically, it's the 80-20 rule. So you got 20% of the guys getting 80%. So basically, they get all the top tier women, and so 80% of the men just don't get anything. Or they could fuck some chick who has maybe looks like a Broomhilda or something, but that's it. So that's what happens. So there's no motivation. So I think that might speak to it as well, and it also that's just where we are. So I think that might be a larger issue too. I mean, I don't know.
So you think the Aaron Clarey anti-obesity program would not be a boom to economic growth?
No, because ultimately the men still wouldn't be getting laid because we live in a society now that doesn't encourage monogamy, one man, one woman. We have where you're empowered, where shout your abortion, You can have the abortion while the baby's in the birth canal, for Christ. I mean, that's some sick shit, by the way. I'm not a religious guy. I mean,
no, I'm pro-choice, but I'm like, what the fuck is, I mean, why?
I'm pro-choice, but I'm not for like killing infants. I mean, I don't believe in infanticide.
No.
But yeah, I mean, I believe abortion, with certain restrictions. Yeah. But that's some sick shit that's going on right now. I think Rollo said that, didn't he say that abortion is the ultimate expression of hypergamy?
He might have. That's the ultimate expression of hypergamy. I got to think that one through. Abortion, like no guy's kid is good enough for her or something.
Yeah,
like she wants to find something better, so she's going to get rid of the kid.
Yeah.
I see, because she wants to trade up. Wow. Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
well,
right.
yeah, because I mean, if you're pregnant, like let's say you're some skank and you're pregnant with Tom Brady's kid, are you going to abort it? Fuck no, that's a lottery ticket.
Right. Right.
But if you're,
if you did,
if you're pregnant with you'll never her, she could be in the most dire of circumstance. She's never going to say, oh, it's an inconvenient time, or I'm not ready. You know what I mean? It's just not the right time, or, it could get in the way of my career. No, she's got Tom Brady.
His father's not good enough.
Yeah, you're right. But you take the exact same woman, but if she's pregnant with the guy, even though Tom Brady's married to, Giselle, a supermodel, and he's not going to leave her for it, she's still not going to abort that kid. But it could be but if it's the janitor that's sweeping the floor that we talked about, who's madly
or us,
or yeah, maybe us. She'll suck that thing out while it's in the birth canal if she thinks she can do better. So, that's where we live now. So there's no incentive on, women's behavior has to be restricted by society because, not for its own sake, because men are the productive, men are what makes the wheels turn. And if you remove the incentive for men, which is women, which is what we happen now, then the wheels will stop turning. And that's what
I think we need to delineate though between is like marriage and just good looks. I would argue that having women merely be more attractive, a la that Chinese employer that brought the cute girl. No guy thought they were going to marry the girl. Maybe they secretly pined or hoped they would, but they kind of knew the math and wasn't going to be, like there's one girl for 20 guys. But the productivity still shot up. I mean, just having a cute girl on the premises will hey, you puff your chest out, you get a little bit more active, get a little boost of energy. But long term, yeah, if you're saying marriage or quality women long term would be required to boost economic productivity, it's just as feasible as my anti-obesity program, because in addition to the anti-obesity program, we'd also have the how not to be a royal fucking bitch all the time program, and maybe treat a guy nice program. And that's just the amount of indoctrination and brainwashing that has gone to, at best, turn women into competitors against men, if not worse, turn them into sworn enemies against men. That cannot be undone. I just don't see that's gonna be up to Gen Z to resist that, or whatever the generation is after Gen Z, and maybe parents will actually start training their kids not to think men are the enemies or boys are the enemies. But either case, how
this can be fixed that would stop the bitchiness, cause women
war.
That's exactly what happened in post World War I France. There was, of course it was 100 years ago. It was a different era, but almost exactly 100 years ago. And that's what happened. I mean, women had to up their game, and that's what they would do. If there was a huge shortage of men, women would up their game so fast it would make your
I don't know if I could say that about today, because I distinctly see a disinterest in men on the part of young women today, based on clients and agents in the field and talking to other people. I also see an obliviousness. I think women are completely unaware about the biological clock. And I think they have been so successfully brainwashed to value their career and education above love in individuals in the form of family or a husband or children. I don't think you could, I really think you could wipe out half the men in the Western world today, especially the United States. And again, a la your 80-20, it's just the girls wouldn't be dating the top 20%. You wipe out half, they'd be dating the top 40%. After that. I really don't I think they're trained to support men.
Well, I mean, women are hypergamous by nature, right? So if they're 7, they go for 8 and above. That's just the way it works. But but you could argue that the men that are the 1s, 2s, and 3s shouldn't be breeding anyway, right? So that's it's kind of.
I'm libertarian. If you can snag yourself a gal and she loves you, and you guys have nuclear family, go have as many fugly children as you possibly want.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, if women would be willing to do that. I mean, yeah. If you're rich or something, yeah, then women will overlook
almost anything.
Yeah, if you have money or status or fame or whatever it is, women. I mean, I always thought I always use the example of Mick Jagger, who I think was one of the ugliest people I've ever seen. I mean that dude is, I swear. I mean, if you were trying to make like ugly, and that guy, like he's nailed like I don't know how many beautiful supermodels in his life, So that just goes to show you that women have, it's not about looks, it's about don't get me wrong, looks matter, but I mean, if you can overcome it if you have celebrity, whatever.
No. Well, we got some super chats. You want to go through them here real quick, and we'll call it a night?
Go through, I don't got my glasses on, so you're gonna have to.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, what do you got? Cheaters or something? How old are you?
What? No, I don't know what the hell I did with my. I was falling asleep on you, buddy. But go
ahead. Sorry. All right, we'll get you out of here. Kevin McCober writes, check out America First with Nick Fuentes. All right. Kevin McComer for $1.99 also says repeal the 19th. What's the 19th?
He's referring to the 19th Amendment. Is that the one where women were voting?
Is that the right for women to vote? I'm not against women's suffrage. I have a whole new, it's called Clary suffrage, where you have to pay taxes and then you can vote. If you collect a government check, you can't vote. That's more meritocratic, I think. Hey, we might get you out of here soon, John. Thanks, by the way, for coming on. I know now I'm feeling rushed, like, oh man, John, trying to get you bed.
No, buddy, I'm happy to do it because we haven't talked in a while, and I do really enjoy it. It's just like I said, I just been up since 4, so and I've had
okay,
it's been a lot going on.
All right, well, Bacon Maldito, who you can find at thegoddamnbacon.com. So, how John enjoyed driving in the snow up there? How did you enjoy it, John?
It was interesting. My first time driving my new car. I got to mention my car in this podcast again in the snow. So yes, and I have chains on my tires. So
wait, you can put chains on your tires out there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think they outlawed that out here. I know sometimes, like when you go over the passes, you have to put on the chains.
Yeah, well, yeah, the passes here. If there's sometimes where you're not, if you're caught without chains, you get a ticket because.
Oh.
But yeah.
Okay. Kevin McComber writes, diversity, Hollywood, and media with a shit ton of parentheses.
Oh, yeah. The echo, the tribes people.
Oh.
The left-handed people.
The echo?
Yeah, you never heard the echo? That's what the parentheses mean. It's we're talking about the
diversity. That?
The people who are they live between Jordan, they live between like the West Bank and the Gaza Strip.
Palestinian Jews.
There you go.
Why is parentheses means echoing Jews?
The parentheses means they're Jewish. Yeah.
What?
You didn't know this?
No. What? Why do parentheses mean Jews?
It was started by that podcast, The Right Stuff, or
okay.
the Right Stuff, or the whatever it was, and they created this thing called the echo. When they'd say someone's name that was Jewish, and they'd make this echoing sound, so you know the person was a Jew. And then so to express that in text, they would just put 3 parentheses around it.
So if someone's referring to me and my Jewish quarter Jewish blood, they put Clary.
Yeah, well, they'll just put 3 parentheses around, on either side of your name, and that's
Okay.
that's designating you a Jew.
Yeah, here it is. TJ Martin. Everyone's putting everything else in parentheses. TJ Martin. Martinell ain't Jewish.
He's not a Jew. No.
Fucking Athens in the house. What else we got here? There was a couple more donations. Wow, look at all the commentary here.
We got a lot of for something that was just announced at the last minute. There's a lot of people in the chat.
I would love to be more regular, and I could probably get back to a regular schedule where we do it X time on Tuesdays, because I am still keeping the days the same. Tuesday night's going to be the Older Brother podcast. Friday will be the Clary podcast. But dude, I am busy. I mean, it's not like I don't have a job, and especially after today, running around trying to set up internet and all that. It's kind of, well, we'll get it when it's done.
He'd do it if his friends would pay their internet bills.
Yeah, hey, donate super chats if you want to help me pay for somebody else's internet bill or compensate me. God, it fucking pisses me off, man. It just, I know it shouldn't, but it's just like, Jesus Christ, really? The guy he's old enough, he might have gray pubes. I haven't found out for sure. But by God, if you're at the age you have gray pubes, you should be paying your fucking bills.
Amen.
All right, what else we got here? Why isn't this scrolling? Is that it? I think we're at that bottom. Wait, was there a top chat? Wait a minute.
I think you got to scroll to the top. There was some early in the very beginning.
Yeah, I got it. But then I saw a note there was a $5 donation, and then it went away. And I'd hate to see if someone made a $5 super chat and I didn't answer the question. You see how much fucking money Molyneux's getting on super chats?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God, Atham was posting some screenshots. He's getting like $100 donations at a pop. It's insane. Oh, Rita Bradford. Here we go. I found him again. Rita writes, she is the mother of the Older Brother podcast. Hate to say it, I'm not religious, but Christianity encouraged marriage. Almost everyone had a husband and a wife. I thought any culture ended up having husband and wife. It was kind of like gold naturally formed as a default currency across the globe, even though desperate people, not desperate, disparate people removed from one another had never seen one another. So gold, it tells you something about nature, about human, that gold would have some inherent values that made it a currency. And marriage, husband and wife, that's kind of universal across all cultures. So I would say it's more genetic.
Not exactly, Aaron. What they found out through genetic studies is that depending on the time period, there was times when only 20% of men reproduced.
Kind of like gorillas, sort of like the alpha male truly kills any of his offspring that isn't his.
Didn't necessarily kill them, but would the top guy would have a harem, like Genghis Khan and Attila the Hun had this. So the other men wouldn't get access to women. They'd have because they were low status, and women, being hypergamous, they would. So, sure. And like you said, women will share. They will share a man if he's high status enough. They're willing to do that.
Conan the Barbarian, yeah, right.
Yeah, groupies. But
so we're back to normal, right? You're saying we're back to normal.
Yeah, depending on well, the problem is those societies don't function because you ultimately remove, like the reason Genghis Khan's empire fell apart after he died, there was nothing holding it together, so he never left any sort of legacy.
You know why it didn't hold together? There was no government programs to help out all those single mothers he left behind in his wake. They were strong, they were independent, they were courageous, and they were brave, and we failed them. The Mongolian Empire failed those poor single Mongolian women. And me too, hashtag whatever, parentheses. There, I'm hip with the kids now. Atham El Decu writes, Steele, pineapple on your pizza, yes or no?
Not this time, no. I do have baked spinach in it, though.
Oh, that's good stuff. Bacon Maldito for $5.56. See what he did there? You see what he did there?
5.56. I don't get the 56.
Caliber AR-15, 5.56 round.
Okay.
All right. P.S. How far did John make it before mentioning his favorite Azakani brethren, asking for a Fred cheers and stay off the black ice? How long did we make it? Most of the podcast, I say.
Yeah. I think we did. I think I did pretty good.
Yeah, we did pretty good. Yeah. And then I think that might be it.
Well, you got the new one now. What is it? Nick
Schulander says, how is Operation Evil coming along? Slowly, because it's been tax season. I finally sent my taxes off to Chad Elkins at elkinscpa.com, by the way. And we had changed corporate entities. He recommended switching to an S Corp, so I did. And that was the transition year. So there was a little bit more complications. And it reminded me as to how stupid it is that we have an income tax when if we had a sales tax, we wouldn't have to ever fill out tax returns ever again. But you American sheep prefer to fill out tax forms because you're stupid. But I am going to be starting in on my next book that will not be part of Operation Evil. It'll be an essay length, maybe a lengthier, maybe a 200-page book, if that, about the millennials. I'm going to leave the title Tippy Top Secret because I think it's going to be very beneficial to everybody because how can I put it? While this generation is here, they need to be reminded as to just what a joke of a generation they are. And my listening audience, I know you guys know that you guys are the exception to the rule. I don't have to hear these complaints. You paint with a pretty big brush. It's because I have a big dick, bitch. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, so you guys are not, this is obviously not you guys, but I am going to highlight and chronicle this wonderful generation. And I can already tell you the conclusion is that they are so financially fucked and psychologically fucked that they are incapable of ever deprogramming themselves out of the leftist Marxist self-centered brainwashing they have to reprogram themselves into productive members of society, that they will die as they are. There's no salvation for them. There's no getting through to them because they're not capable of taking constructive criticism. They're not capable of admitting they're wrong. So they're going down this road forever. And the book will kind of delve into that. But then Operation Evil will go back. Kevin McComber writes, talk about who owns the media. Did I do that right? Is that
yeah?
Okay.
I think he answered his own question with the parentheses. Yes, they do. Disproportionately.
Oh my God.
2% of the population.
Hey, I'm going to stand up for my Jewish brethren. I can't help it that they work hard, save money, and invest. I can't help that. I'm not. I don't think it's conspiracy. It's kind of like, wow, did you know Asians make more money and they have higher 401k saving balances? It's like, yes, when you tend to work hard and study hard subjects and dedicate yourself to work, you will tend to have more property and investments than the average person.
Yeah, and also they have a strong tribal in-group preference.
Oh, huge. Oh, absolutely huge. Yeah, nepotism abound. Absolutely, no doubt about it. I think that's it.
All right. Well, it was a good stream. Thanks for having me on.
I appreciate it very much. Yeah,
Mario was a little low energy, but like I said, long day.
No, that's all right. I feel bad. I didn't know. I had to go to that YouTube Taco Tuesdays, which is fun as hell, by the way. That's just a meetup group out in Vegas, and every first Tuesday of the month, it's a bunch of YouTubers that get together. Oh, I got to tell you this. Then we'll go because this is a good story. So we're just sitting there, and it's just a bunch of guys, and unfortunately, no women. I don't know why. And so this guy walks in, there's five of us at the table. He says, oh, is this the YouTube meetup? We're like, yeah, come on in. And so, Steve introduces him and Mike introduces himself. And I say, oh, my name's Aaron. He's like, holy shit, you're Aaron Clary. And I was cool because like, here I'm at this meetup. Nobody knows me from Jack. And all of a sudden the guy comes in and he's like, oh my God, you're Aaron Clary. And I was like, yeah, that's right, motherfuckers. Suck my dick. Yeah, look at me. I'm big time, big wig. I'm publicly noticed, which is like maybe the 6th time in 14 years of me being on the internet that's ever happened. And so people show up. So then we're talking, and the guy next to me, he says that he wrote a book. I said, what was it about? And he said, what was the name of it? How to Make Moonshine, or a simple title like that. I'm like, How to Make Moonshine? I said, is there a cowgirl on the cover? It's got like brown font and a beige background. He's like, yeah. I'm like, I own your book. And so is these two totally off. Yeah, it was really cool. So like one guy recognized me because he watched the show. And then I bought this other guy's book. And here we are all sitting at a Vegas taco shop for a YouTube meetup.
Wow, that's kind of like the stars aligning, isn't it? Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It was pretty cool. It kind of reminded me like, hey, yeah, there's actually kind of a profession, we kind of run in the same circles. And I was really just kind of neat. Like, yeah, I bought your book. I got it. I know exactly where it is. And I should have said, yeah, when I looked at how hard it is to actually make your own booze, I decided not to do it because I don't have time to go down to the store and do that, frankly. That's what I'll do. All right. Well, thank you very much, John. Everybody, if you would like to help out the podcast, go ahead and like the video. You can do that. You can also subscribe. That helps with marketing, advertising. It makes me bigger on the internet, bigger fish, blah, blah, blah. So do subscribe to the Older Brother channel and then also subscribe to the Aaron Cleary channel. If you'd like to donate directly, you may. There are 3 ways you can do it, all of which can be found at olderbrother.com/donate. The first one is Patreon, which may be going away. You never know. I have put some stuff behind a paywall on my Patreon account. That is the article, Sanity is the Future of Wealth. I insist people pay for it because no one read it. And I'm like, well, fuck it. This is a 16-page treaty. It's brilliant, but people can pay for it. But aside from that, you could go ahead and donate, in which case you get nothing. There's also a PayPal donation. They only take a 3% cut, whereas Patreon takes a 10% cut. So there's a little PayPal link there at that website. You can go ahead, click on that and donate money. One-time donation is certainly all right. And in exchange for that, you get nothing. But the way I like it, because you get something and it doesn't cost you any extra, it doesn't cost me any extra, is you use my Amazon affiliate program. You go to olderbrother.com/donate. You click on the Amazon banner. You just start doing your shopping, and I get a 7% cut of everything you buy. You don't have to sign up for it. People are confused. They're like, do I have to sign up for the Amazon? No. You just click on that link. And the reason you got to click on that link is because there's code in that link that tells Amazon, oh, it came from Aaron Cleary. So you got to get into the habit of not buying on your phone, not going straight to Amazon. You go to olderbrother.com/donate. You click on the link. And then they know whether you're logged into your Amazon account or not. Whatever you put into your shopping cart, I get a 7% cut. You don't pay anything extra. And I think that is the best way because you are going to buy it anyway. You're going to get exactly what you wanted at the exact same price. And instead of just warm fuzzies because you donated to my Patreon, that's fine. You actually get something in exchange for that. Working on getting some pinup girls for the Patreon account. So for those of you who do donate, there's a little bit of something there. But John, did you know that hot girls are unreliable? Did you know that?
Yes, I did. And I was surprised at how unreliable they are, even when you're offering them money.
My God, I paid one girl $30. It's like, well, how many you want? Like, let's start with 2. All right. So I get like $30 because I'm no dummy. I'm not going to blow a shit ton of money. And still waiting. I'm like, okay, we'll see how this goes. But yeah, man, they're completely unreliable. They're incredibly unreliable. And so, yeah, unfortunately, I would like to offer you guys something, but, like in the 40s and the 50s, that kind of pinup style, how hard is it for girls to want to do that?
Yeah,
like in the 40s.
The one in the book you sent me, your collection of, your collection of,
best posts.
Yeah, and you had that model. I don't know. I forget what her name was. You highly recommended her. She had her shit together. I can't remember what her name was.
Wait. There was an actual picture, not a like a drawn pinup.
Yeah, it was several pictures throughout it. You said there was a collection of.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's called Captain's Quarterly. I was going to do a quarterly update, like a magazine. Yeah, she's great. She's the only reliable model I've had. The problem is I can't just keep throwing up the same model because guys want to see a little bit of different TNA.
Right.
But yeah, if you guys want to see that, this is a beautiful gal. She pinned up like classic 50s wife dress, sexy red formal dress, lingerie. She did the whole thing. It's called Captain's Quarterly, available paperback and Kindle. Yeah, it was tragic. I couldn't find. You know how much money women could make if they just showed up on time and put on, not a sultry outfit, but just a pretty sexy. Do you know how much money they could make?
Well, I mean, you're talking to Chad Elkins. He doesn't he have a bunch of clients that are cam girls?
That's a good point.
I mean, he was one of the shows we were on together. He was talking about all these chicks, and I don't know what. I guess we can't say it on YouTube, but I'm guessing they made. You should ask him.
I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna text him right after this because I still have fucking work to do because I never had internet all day today. Yeah, I should contact him. He might have a link or two. Yeah, that might be good. So we'll talk to Chad then. So he'll love a call at what is it? 12:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right. Well, listen, thanks for being on the show, John. I appreciate it. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. And we'll see you guys on Friday for the Aaron Clary podcast. We'll see you guys then, and toodles.